Hello, hello. Welcome everyone back to another Artemis Create stream. Um, yeah, what do you think of my new setup here? I've been excited to debut this. I have been trying different lighting kind of ideas, combinations, setups. This room is tricky to work with because it is very small and limited. Um, so I'm doing my best with it. Hello, Happy Dead Pixel. I'm so glad to see you. Good, glad to have my regular back. Um, yeah. Uh, Thank you. Yeah, I just literally set this up yesterday. Um, I originally had gotten um, like one of those kind of like rectangular LED panel things, and I got some like color gel filters to put over it. And I tried that, and it just didn't have the effect. Like, I'm trying to mimic what I see other people on Twitch doing, and I realize like in a lot of cases, like at least to some degree, it seems that uh, sort of the size of the room and other different factors factor into it. So the LED panel with the color filter created a little bit more of like kind of a spotlight type effect on my banner, which I didn't like. So it's like, okay, well, I've seen lots of people use the LED light strips, so I'll try that. So I ordered one and I set it up yesterday. And so, and it was hard for me to get the color right because purple is notoriously difficult both to capture. Like, phone cameras are terrible at capturing purple, like it always ends up either being too blue or too red, usually too blue. So yeah, I've been just trying to play with it, and this is the remote here, and as you can see, it's got this is the purple. It's got like a almost kind of like a grapish kind of tint, but that one's actually more pink. Like if I show you, oops. Okay, maybe that is the pink. I don't know. Anyways, I'm not gonna mess with it because it looks good right now, so I'm just gonna leave it alone. But yeah, I've now got other colors if I'm playing. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Like, even so, like this. Oh, that actually looks. Oh, it's probably because I did a little bit of color correction on the video here, but like just getting my like actual official logo and like the color you can see in the Twitch interface, like the icons and stuff, that is a specific shade of purple that really can't be recreated in like printing, like especially CMYK. So I've actually had to find a CMYK safe shade for all my stuff, which thankfully I kind of have, and sometimes it looks better than others. But yeah, the this is working. It's an improvement. I like it better than how I kind of had it before. Because again, I had the kind of red on air sign, but I'm not a huge fan. Like, red's my least favorite color, to be honest, and it kind of looked a little bit more pink, but I wasn't a huge fan of it. But it kind of worked. But now I've actually got like this is more my vibe. This is the Lavender Lounge. It's a nice kind of chill space, I feel like. Um, so yeah, for today, I actually I what I did today in preparation, because I wasn't entirely sure what I wanted to do. I wanted to do some art tonight, but it's just been a bit of a weird day, and I didn't quite get myself as ready as I wanted to. I just started something in Photoshop. I can make some letter blooms potentially. Um, uh, were you here on Wednesday, Happy Dead Pixel? I don't remember. I think you might have dropped in for a little bit, but yeah, that that was not the most successful experiment, and I don't blame people for having not stuck around for the whole thing. Um, Music streams are a very delicate beast that I think you need to approach in a certain way and not be as rusty as I was, and yeah, all that kind of fun stuff. But yeah, I think art streams. Okay, so you weren't here. Well, I didn't upload that one to YouTube. I had planned to, but then I was like, I'm not really so proud of that stream, so I don't think I want to put it on YouTube. So again, coming back, resetting, starting over, trying to do things a little bit better. So What I was going to start with today, just until maybe some more people get in here, I was going to start with some words on stream because I've seen a few other people use it and I like words, I like language. So actually, maybe I'll spend a couple more minutes just talking about my day first, just to kind of see, let a couple of people filter in here. So, uh, yeah, my day actually, this is kind of the first day I think in a while that I woke up and I was not feeling kind of lonely and kind of sad. It's been unfortunate. It's been part of the whole breakup, which is now further and further in the past. But it takes time to kind of get over certain things. But yeah, this morning I actually kind of went to bed last night knowing, okay, there's a couple of specific things that I wanted to accomplish this morning, and so I got up and I kind of got right down to business and had a pretty productive day. Also got a little bit tired kind of by midday and had to I actually had about an hour long nap today and still had to do a lot of other kind of resting and just kind of taking it easy. And, it's just been too much screen time all week between work and getting preparation for Twitch stuff and other things, and it's been a little too much. So this weekend my goal is to not be on screens all day, both days. I am hoping to do a stream this weekend because I do want to continue playing Control. I thought about playing that tonight, but I feel like I want to put more time into that game. I want to put 2 or 3 hours in a sitting, and so I would have done that tonight, but I have a scheduled. Oh, hello, Cotes. I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but welcome to the Lavender Lounge. Welcome to my channel. I am so glad that you're here. Um, yeah, how are you? What part of the world do you hail from? Oh, just Coda. Okay, great. Even better, Coda. Well, welcome. Is the pronouns thing fired yet? Here, let's do this. Since I am not currently in a game. There we go. So we'll do a little pronouns check. Oh, it doesn't even say mine in there. My pronouns are she and her. I should probably put them up on the screen somewhere for future, but yeah, I was gonna play some more Control tonight, but I have a phone call scheduled with somebody at 7:30 p.m. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to stream from like 5 to 7, and then I'll have kind of a quick bite afterwards or whatever, and go do that. If not for that, like it was like Friday nights, there's no reason I couldn't stream from 5 to 8 or 9 or 6 to 9 or something like that. Which I might start doing next week, and try not to schedule things. It's one of those things where it was like the person said, are you available Friday evening? And I'm like, technically, yes. So when I was just like, what, I'll just go with it. And, kind of, I can work around it. So yeah, I think this weekend, I don't know if it's going to be tomorrow or Sunday yet. Sunday is, I guess, possibly more likely, but I'll try and put more dedicated, like I'll do a more dedicated stream just for Control because I'm really getting into it and there's lots more to do, and yeah, so I want to do it. But tonight I think I'm going to keep it a little bit more casual. I'm going to do some words on stream, maybe do a little bit of art. I might do a game. We will see. But yeah, Coda, whereabouts in the world do you hail from? What time is it where you are? It is currently 5:15 p.m. here in Toronto, Canada. I should probably try to figure out a widget to put into my Twitch that says, because I have a little thing already on screen that says the time zone, but it doesn't say what time it is. And I mean, you could look that up, but it would be better to just have it there so that people don't have to guess or whatever. Yeah, you know what? Actually, while I'm still on this screen, let me go into my stream elements and fix that little alert for next time. Oh yeah, another thing that another little piece of news that I came across. Actually, right as I was going to bed last night, I opened YouTube, which was not a smart idea when I'm about to go to bed, but I did it, and I was recommended a video that was saying why you should never become an affiliate on Twitch, and I'm like, okay, I'm willing to hear you out on this because I'm very close to that particular achievement. Where is this here? This is the one. Okay. Whoops. Or is that the one? Oh no, it's a special custom command. Never mind. And so I was watching this video and I only ended up watching about half of it, but it did make some compelling arguments. And I had honestly not realized. There we go. All right, that's fixed. Yeah, I sort of naively had not realized that to become an affiliate on Twitch means an exclusivity contract, which means that you can't stream anywhere else, or rather, you can't simultaneously stream anywhere else. So I guess the understanding is like you can stream it and then you can upload to other platforms after the fact, or you can stream like to Twitch and YouTube on different days, kind of thing. But that's understandably a little bit more cumbersome and like it doesn't make the most sense. Um, so like I'm glad that I found this out before because I was literally like as soon as I qualify, I'm applying, and now I'm like I'm actually gonna hold back because I also saw a couple of videos that had said that when like your goal shouldn't be to get affiliate, your goal if anything should be to get partner, because at that point you have enough of like an audience, you have enough of a community, you potentially would have enough people that it would be sort of like profitable or be worthwhile financially to make that commitment. And since I do also post stuff to YouTube and I am trying to get better at posting to different platforms again, exclusivity doesn't make the most sense for me. So at this point, I'm going to hold off, which is a little bit disappointing because I've been really looking forward to having, you know, the like hype trains and the subscriptions and the bits and cheers and all those things. And if I'm not even affiliated, then none of that stuff will happen. But hopefully I can find other ways to still kind of make it fun. So I feel like I need to be higher up in my chair here. Hold on a second. I'm trying to show specific parts of my background. Here, I'll sit on a pillow. Hopefully, there we go. That's better. Because now I'm like more centered in the frame vertically, which is what was kind of bothering me there. So I look a little bit better now. So yeah, so again, a lot of the tips that I've been seeing in the different Twitch tips videos that I've been watching have been like, you know, focus on building a community, building like a regular audience, and, you know, if anything else, like try to promote and get and encourage people to kind of check you out and support you in other places. So I guess that is what I will do. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, now that I've got a few people in here, or at least a couple of people in here, yeah, I'm gonna do words on stream for a little bit. So let me switch here. You like that one, Happy Dead Pixel? I'm I had a Twitch specific stinger for a Wednesday's stream, but then I realized, well, if I'm not going to be exclusive to Twitch, then I don't want to have that. So I found a different one that is still purple. Ooh, that actually looks kind of cool. My webcam looks even cooler there. Hold on. I want to do. There we go. That's a little bit better. So I'm gonna start this guy up. Oh, how loud is that? That is really loud. Okay, so oh, do I have to? Oh, I have to do this on my phone, don't I? Oh darn! I thought I could do this from my computer. Oh dear. I did not. Oh dear. I don't know how to do the QR code. Is there like an? Is it a phone app? Hold on a second. This. I keep learning things when it's kind of a bit too late. All right. Let's see here. Oh, didn't I do that already? No. Wait. What? No, that's not it. Okay. So wait. How do I? I can't just. Oh, I have to. I guess I. Hold on a second. Okay. I'm gonna get out of here because I gotta scan. So I gotta get a QR code reader, I guess. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. Okay, QR code reader. I like never do stuff with QR codes, so I was not prepared. I assumed that I could do this like actually through my computer, which is apparently not the case. QR and barcode scanner. Yeah, sure, why not? How is your healing and recovery going, Happy Dead Pixel? I was lurking your stream last night, but I was like doing a whole bunch of stuff yesterday evening, so I was not able to really give anybody my full attention. Um, yeah, let's try this. Which I'm actually finding like in the evenings now that there's a lot of people streaming at the same time. Oh, okay, there we go. Okay, here we go. Start work this coming Monday. Oh, okay. Are you glad to be going back to work? Yeah, I was gonna say there's. I'm so happy. Okay, well that's good. I'm glad to hear that. Um, Again, me not being the most prepared. Oh shoot! And of course I don't remember my password because why would I remember my password? um, Tired of yeah. I can understand that for sure. I know a certain other someone who that is also very applicable for. Um, okay. See, I'm really glad that I'm good at talking to myself because it really works for these streams when, especially when I'm like, oh, I need to look something up. I can talk to myself while I do it. Twitch. Yikes. It's funny, before I started, I was only wearing like a tank top kind of thing and I was too cold and then I put on a long sleeve shirt and now I'm starting to get too hot. Of course. Now I remember. All right. See, I actually do the smart thing. I actually have different passwords. Oh, right. You have to email me a thing. Okay, hold on a second. Let me switch back to this so that I can go check my email and not show you people. What's this? No. Come on. There we go. Nope. Where is it? There it is. I kind of hate that I have to keep getting friggin' confirmation codes. But here we are. Yeah, like I was saying, I actually do the smart thing and I don't... all right, let me put this away and switch back to this. Nope. Okay. Oh, there we go. All right. Okay. Wow, my brain is like totally not working right now. Brie is one of them. There we go. Beer. Oh, apparently. Oh, whoops. Nope. There we go. But yeah, I actually do the smart thing, and I actually big is a word, but it has to be at least 4 letters, doesn't it? This seems unusually difficult. Wow, why is this... I'm normally good at this kind of stuff. I don't think reg is... Brig? Did I do Brig? No, I didn't already do Brig. Okay. There's a whole bunch of them. Wow, okay. No. Oh, is that... No. Nope, bigger's not a word. Wow. This was a bad combination for me, this particular set of letters. I am actually getting too hot, so I'm going to take this frickin' shirt off. Last hits. Yep, no, that was... Alright. Oh. Alright. I'm apparently not that good at this after all. Okay, hold on a second. Arctic phone. What the heck is that? Oops, I did not mean to punch the microphone. All right. I'm just gonna switch back to the chatting screen for now. Yeah, as I was trying to say before I had my attention diverted fully to the game, I actually do the thing that they recommend where I don't use the same password for everything. In fact, I have probably about 6 different base passwords that I can do variations on for different things because I'm signed up on a lot of websites and a lot of services. And it can be frustrating sometimes. For certain things I do remember my password, but for other things I have to just keep looking it up, which is kind of frustrating. Yes, I have nail polish here on my desk that I need to put on. I've been meaning to do it, but it takes so darn long for it to set. What else? Okay. You know what? I think I am going to work on some art. Whoops, that's not what I want. Because words on stream does not seem like it's going to be the best fit right now. So I'm going to switch to art. Oh, I didn't friggin' Okay, what else? I don't know. I don't know what other tags to put on this. There we go. That's that. That's done. Yeah, so I'm gonna work on some more letter blooms. Wait a minute. Let's just do this first. Yeah, there we go. Wait, what? Okay. Oh, no, I don't need to do that. All right. All right. All right, all right, all right. Let me get back to here. All right, and we will switch to this guy. Now I realize that my chat is blocking the layers in Photoshop here, the layer view, but if I put it on the other side, actually, I guess that could work on the other side. But I'm not going to change it right now. So yeah, I'm going to work on a letter bloom. Yeah, because this is something I can kind of easily do and still kind of talk to myself. And I'm starting to sort of work on a bit of a not a top secret project, but a project that I'm not talking about quite yet. And it's related to 8-bit stuff, so I'm kind of in a bit of an 8-bit sort of headspace. And the music I was trying to compose was very 8-bit, so I'm gonna do... Do I want to do that? I'm kind of curious to see how this is gonna look if I do something like... Yeah, see, this is something I can pretty easily do regardless. So I am holding down the Alt key. Why are you not copying? There we go. So something like this. There we go. Yeah, this isn't as good with this font. Certain fonts lend themselves better to this practice than others. All right, I'm going to put this away. I forget what kind of work you do, Happy Dead Pixel. I don't know if you've actually told me. Yeah, this is starting to feel more and more like my actual job, like the amount of preparation and stuff that I do and trying to upgrade my interface and my backgrounds and everything. I even have a green screen that I kind of need to figure out how it would work. I don't know if I really want to use it because I do love this kind of thing, but I guess for some games it would be good to have that option. Oh, you work DoorDash. Oh, I guess that kind of explains the bike thing a little bit more. I kind of thought that it was more just a casual hobby thing. I'm a dasher. Uh, so all we need now is a dancer and a prancer. I could be the prancer, but I definitely am not a dancer. I am certainly not a good dancer. I mean, I have like, you know, I can have enthusiasm for it, but it's just not something I've ever been particularly like. It's interesting actually because like I have good physical coordination for certain things, like certain sports. Like my hand-eye coordination for sports can actually be pretty good, but for like just going to like pick something up off of a counter, I often screw that up. I don't know why. And especially now, like, hold on a sec, let me hold it really close. Try to see if you can see the tremor. See a little bit. It's not too. It's pretty weak right now. It's pretty minimal, but it's been a lot more consistent lately, and uh, that's been kind of frustrating. But there's not really much I think that I can do as far as I know. Just have to kind of work around it. Here. I have no idea what I'm doing here. I'm literally just kind of making stuff up. Because that's how you do art sometimes. All right, now if I... Oh, right, because I have to do color overlay for that. That's right. Boo. I don't know. You see, this is the thing with the ADHD as well. I'm like, I didn't want to just play trucking again, but now I'm kind of like, you know what? I kind of want to do the trucking thing. But I feel like I should at least do some art for a little bit. I'm just kind of like curious what might come of this. That's interesting. And then what if I have to make a marker of where... So I was gonna copy these, do another separator here, and then I was gonna shrink this down. If you could do Twitch for a living, Happy Dead Pixel, was that something that you would want, that would appeal to you? Whether it be like music streams or gaming or combination thereof. Ooh, this is interesting. Maybe only to me. Again, it would be better if I had a specific idea in mind. This is just kind of chaos. Kind of for the sake of chaos. Maybe a year or two max. You mean you'd only want to do it full time for a year or two? Like, I can understand that. Like, I'm very new to it, but this week has been interesting because, like, I know there's been a couple of weeks where I've streamed like almost every day, and then there's been weeks where I've only streamed like a couple of times because of like health or other stuff. And like, yeah, with my like headaches and migraines I've been having lately, it's been making the evenings, because they usually seem to kick in kind of like early to mid afternoon or sometimes late afternoon, and then it kind of derails me of like I spend kind of the time from all work time almost being done to kind of maybe an hour or two before bedtime, just like having to wear earmuffs and sunglasses and just waiting for my migraine to go away. And sometimes I can still do stuff, but not always. And it's so like now that I'm like this week, I was like, okay, this week my plan was to actually try my schedule out. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday evening, and then at least one weekend day. And then Monday I just did not have it in me. And then Tuesday I wanted to, but then by the time I got the motivation, I was too tired. It was too late. And so then Wednesday I was like, okay, I'm going to do the music stream. I'm committing to this. And then that didn't quite go the best. And then yesterday I kind of wanted to stream, but it's like, again, too tired or something. Just, yeah, it wasn't, I was like, okay, well, tomorrow. And so it's funny how, like, on the days that I haven't been planning to stream, I want to stream. And then the days that I am scheduled to stream, like today, kind of, I sort of wasn't, like, I didn't really want to. I was kind of like, you know what, I I don't know. It was like, it's almost like sometimes when you have to do something, you don't want to, but then if you don't have to do it or you can't do it, then you do want to, and that's a little bit of what I've been experiencing. But like, again, glad that I found out about the whole affiliate thing. So I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna like rush into that because I know it. I've been doing research and I've been enjoying it and like learning and making plans based on that. So that's what I'm going to continue to do. Continue kind of researching and working on stuff. Um, I've even been like, because I like now kind of starting my streams with like chatting for a little bit and then going into something. On the weekends, I might just kind of jump right into a game. Still kind of figuring out how it's going to work, but I guess some days I want to do it regardless, and other days I'm like, if there's like nobody in chat and I just have to talk to myself for 2 hours, that doesn't always seem like the most fun. But I have a surprising amount to talk about considering I can't go anywhere or do anything really. Like, I guess that's saying something. I'm gonna have another quick little drink here. And I've also, like, I think I was talking on a previous stream about noticing how the time blocks of different streamers and the kind of pinnacle time to stream seems to be kind of between like 7 and 9 in the evening. Um, and that's kind of when I was planning to stream tonight, except then again, I had that phone call scheduled, and just because of certain circumstances, it was not so easy to reschedule. Um, so I couldn't do that because otherwise I would have. So I'm kind of doing a little bit more of a limited stream tonight. But that, and like on Monday and Wednesday nights, like, yeah, that's just a little bit late for me. It's hard for me to like actually still have a lot of energy at 6 p.m. Um, so we'll see how it goes. I think 5 to 7 probably fits a little bit better, but it might be a little more quiet in the first hour and a little bit more active in the second. Um, okay, I think I'm gonna, again, like, I'm also at the point, if I'm like doing something, I'm like, I'm not super feeling this, I'll be like, well, you know what? Stick with it for a little bit. Don't just bounce around all these activities. So I am going to start a fresh thing here. And I'm going to see what else I can cook up with this. Because I feel like I still want to do something with this. Again, it's all pretty much just about trying stuff and seeing what maybe works. If I could, I would just do Twitch for a year or two at the same time. Invest or do something to make other opportunities for myself. Yeah, so I kind of got sidetracked there. This is what happens when I just like ramble and nobody stops me, is that I just kind of end up somewhere else entirely. But yeah, I think it's been kind of a roller coaster of sorts in how, like, my experience, because I've spent the majority of my time obviously as like as a viewer, and then kind of like getting excited and like putting in a lot of time, like, to upgrade this and to like do stuff with OBS and to plan what I might do, and it's like, it's so easy to get excited about like what I can do or I want to do, but then sometimes actually going and doing it is where I'm like, it's kind of more fun to just kind of think about but not always actually do. um so yeah, so let me see what we got going on here. So for it looks like I might have a new person lurking now. I am just working on a random. I'm calling this like I'm doing what I call a letter bloom. I kind of just start with either. I think it's usually two letters, and they're usually different. And I just kind of goof around and sort of see what comes of it. Um, I kind of wanted to put that one the other way, actually. Now, the funny thing, like, I don't know why this is, but like, I'm noticing that a couple of these now, sort of just they just end up like I don't even want to say it, but like I feel like one of the ones I did previously, it was totally not intentional, but like my brain was kind of seeing like a pattern visually. I'm like, I think some people could like at a glance might look at that and be like, that looks vaguely like a swastika. I'm like, it was totally not the intention. And I'm looking at this now and it's like it's not obviously not that, but it's kind of just like I don't know why these things sometimes like my eyes kind of seem to notice that a bit more. Okay, I'm gonna bring this down here and rotate it. Whoops, nope, that's not what I wanted. Um, so I guess it's probably better to not work with such square blocky fonts, but again, I'm kind of in a bit of an 8-bit space. But yeah, okay, so again, I got off topic. Um, I have to kind of see how this goes like once I get on this regular schedule and actually stick with it for a little while and kind of see how it grows and how things kind of go, and that'll give me a sense. And like when I was doing this more regularly and then uploading the streams to YouTube after the fact, my this last month my YouTube channel was growing at like 1.5 subscribers per day, and I was like, "Oh, well there's actually like a lot of kind of not a lot, but there's like people there now obviously who are kind of like watching or interested, so I should definitely be more mindful of that and try to be a little bit more consistent with content." So that's another reason I have to be a bit more regular with this. Okay, never mind. That's not gonna work there, is it? You know what? I don't have one over here that's completely upside down, do I? All right, there we go. And I'm trying to also have them not actually touch each other. This is very strange. I feel like this one I want to rotate around the other way. Oh, no. That's not going to fit unless I shrink it. I might have to do that. Yeah, I've been saying on past streams that like I'm really not quite sure about being like a full-time content creator. I mean, maybe if I had like help, or if I was like collaborating with somebody or something, but like it is a for all the things that I do, it is a lot for one person to do, and I like do my best, but yeah, when I end up like kind of depressed or sick, or if just my actual day job kind of explodes and gets super busy, it can obviously detract from the other things that I do, because I'm doing all this kind of like in my spare time. So, oh yeah, now I have to like, oh, that's actually the one I was looking at there. So I have to, I don't know, kind of see what happens. I mean, there's certainly like, as I'm getting more involved with other streamers, communities, and stuff, like, it's possible I might be able to start doing some like collaborative stream stuff with other people. So like it's still very early on. I'm still kind of working on it, building it up. See what happens. I think that's a Twitter notification there. Let me check a Rooney. Do it on my phone, not on the screen. Ah, very nice. Oh, I'm just going to take a quick second here since something just reminded me of it. And I am going to do a little shout out here. I usually do this at the end of the stream, but I might as well start doing it in the middle of the stream as well, or like throughout the stream. So this is my kind of current list. It's kind of it changes on a fairly regular basis. But these are a combination of people that I'm actually personal friends with, or other channels that I've just found that I like, either the vibe of the host or the community, or both, or just kind of what they do. And so I suggest checking all of these out. They're mostly chatting and art streams. Some of them do play a bit more games, but I do watch a lot of where is it? Um, Chatting and art streams. That's kind of my. And I've actually started to get into music streams, both as like research and just because I'm actually interested in it. So I found a few guitar players who actually do metal, which is cool because that's what I like. So gonna watch a little bit more. And apparently, like, I know Guitar Hero and what's the other one? Band no, Rock Band and Guitar Hero are like gone, but now there's a game called Rocksmith and apparently one called Clone Hero, and it's the same thing. You're playing on a plastic guitar and you're playing songs. And there's a lot of people that play these, and I'm like, I had no idea that this was still a thing. So I don't know if I'm gonna get into that or not. It's just another possibility that I've discovered, but it's interesting, I guess. Um, I'm gonna go back to my letter bloom here. Do. I feel like maybe I should have like a question of the day on the screen. I did sort of make a screen for it, but I don't. Actually, I was gonna ask one. I need to make like a list. That's something I need to work on. Is actually making a list of have like maybe like 30 question of the days or something, like 30 separate questions. And I can look at the list before the stream and I can say, okay, today is the 7th, so what is the 7th question in the list? And I can kind of go back through them, but after a month, the answers might have changed, and so be kind of okay to just sort of re-ask, even if some of the same people are in chat. Yeah. All right, back to this letter bloom here. So that's that. And the tricky thing here is that I made this diagonal, which makes it a little bit harder to work with. And it's not out of the question that I'm never going to do a music stream again, but oh wow, it's been almost an hour. Okay. I can still lose track of time doing this, even when not much is going on. Have I done anything really funky here? That I kind of want to do. Yeah, I can do this. None of them are actually touching, right? Just by like vague corners, sort of. Alright, I can break my own rule though. Sort of like that. And then, yeah, actually, you know what? I will show, for the record, something that I was planning to maybe work on. I think it'd actually be more possible than I thought, because like I've only got a ring light and this backlighting on right now, so it's darkish in here. Actually, you know what? It does cast a nice kind of purplish glow on the room, which is nice. I didn't actually notice that until just now. But yeah, I had printed out some like kind of coloring pages essentially. This one happens to be from Sonic the Hedgehog, but I have a bunch. Whoops, gotta stop doing that. I have a bunch more here from Mega Man and like one Power Ranger thing. I'll show you this one here. I'll put it up closer to the camera. And I was just gonna like potentially color this in while I talked. And I didn't start doing that because I thought it would be maybe too dark to do it. But it's actually not that dark. So I could do it. So maybe I will do that on the weekend or next time or something. Where was it? There was one here. No, not that one. I guess it's this one. Yeah. And so this one, this is Mega Man, but this one I was like, I could draw like long hair from this, and I could like make it like kind of pink and purple, so it could be like Mega Girl. That's something that I had the idea for. I'll put those aside. I also had looked up because I was interested in maybe doing some like model building or something on a stream, and I'd found this purple like Mustang or something like that on Amazon. It's like a kit that you build, and it's like, oh, I think it's like $50 or something. So it's not super cheap. So I'm like, okay, before I buy this, I'm gonna make sure I'm actually gonna want to do it. And so I went to YouTube today and I looked up a video of like, how to build a model car, and I found a video of somebody building. I don't think it was the exact same car, but it was very, very similar. And just seeing how many pieces there were, and like that he was doing like primer and he was doing paint and he was doing all these things, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot this doesn't come painted. It comes and you have to like literally do everything. And I was like, okay, maybe not. Maybe that's not actually a good idea for stream. Like I kind of want to do it, but I might want to practice that more offline. Model car can go crazy. Yeah, and I think that too would also be I think that would also be like a thing where I'd cuz like he had like multiple videos, and like the first time I'm ever doing something like that, it's going to take a lot longer because I'm literally figuring everything out on the spot. So that's the sort of thing I'd be better off probably to do offline first and get a feel for it and get a sense of it, or at least get it to a certain point. I just realized my necklace is on backwards. Oh well. And get a sense of it first and get a little bit more comfortable, or get it to a certain point so that when I do on stream that I'm not completely fumbling around. Like this is what I'm learning from other art streamers now. They tell me like they only do certain things on stream and they do other sorts of work off stream. And with the music thing, that's kind of what I would need to do. Like trying to write something brand new on the spot on stream, that was very ambitious. But if I have a song that's like kind of half written and I'm just sort of like building on it, then maybe I could do that more easily live. But even like artwork wise, like I'm borrowing a drawing tablet right now that I have only tried once, and I was gonna try experimenting with that on stream, but I'm kind of realizing that I don't. I think if I had like regular viewers, like if I had many clones of Happy Dead Pixel, that they might be interested to come and watch me like kind of stumble through something for the first time, like trying to learn how to use a drawing tablet and not be completely terrible. um but like strangers who might pop in, uh I would not want to assume that they would be interested in watching that. I think when strangers come to your channel, I think you want to be doing something like like not fluid, but like you kind of want to be like in a groove or something. I think that's the sense that I kind of get. So like actively playing a game or like actively working on something that they'll be able to understand and that will kind of catch interest. Although again, I know it comes back to just do what you want, and I get that. But I'm also trying to keep in mind that, because I seem to have, I think I have like at least one kind of like straggler, one kind of lurker, new person come to my channel each time I stream. And like, I know, because I noticed the number sort of change, but then they don't say anything. And like, I might mention something like say like, oh, like hello new person, and they just don't comment. And I know that like I'm more active when I pop into streams for the first time. I usually kind of just like listen for a little bit to kind of get a sense of things and see if I actually want to stick around and say something or not. So I get it, but that also tells me like, hey, like as if I'm coming into this as like someone who doesn't know me at all, what would I think of this? Would I actually want to keep watching it? So I do have to keep that in mind. Um, I think this one. See, now this is starting to kind of get a bit wonky, which is fine. It's just all right. I think in a few minutes, I think I'm gonna do. I keep reminding myself to keep talking. Yeah. Like I said, it's not hard for me to do. It's just, it's kind of, I don't know. So I guess sometimes I do get a little bit self-conscious about it. But like, yeah, it was what I was gonna say is I was gonna do like maybe just art for like kind of the first hour and then switch to a game. Just kind of have a bit of, because I do like to be a variety streamer. This is getting kind of wonky. Hello, if there's a new person who's just joined, actually, I don't know if I should like call that out because I don't want to like make the person self-conscious. I just saw that the number of viewers changed. Like, I just want to say hello. If you just want to lurk, that's totally fine. If you are someone who actually does already know me, say hello. I am currently working on the dead air something. Yeah. I talk to myself a lot normally, so it's not really that much of a problem for me. It's just, yeah, I guess like I know I'm kind of eccentric and weird and unique and stuff, and I don't know. But yeah, so if there is a new person watching here, what I'm doing right now, I call this a letter bloom. I could show, actually, I should probably pull up an old example for the sake of kind of context. So this is another one that I did. I usually just take 2 letters, but sometimes more, and then I just kind of start with it in one, and I just kind of like just play around with it until I get something kind of interesting and cool. And so this is one that I did that is kind of neat, and then this one is just, you know, they all come out a little bit different, and they are what they are. So, you know what, actually I just realized, is this the bottom one? Yeah, I think that's the very bottom one. So if I do this, oh wow, I didn't, oh right, because I rasterized it, that's right. I did not think about that. Well then I might as well go full bore and just really stretch the crap out of it. Oh, and then I have to do the color overlay, which is not going to work because it is pixelated now. So I have to shrink it back down and do the color overlay first. I got to start thinking of more things I can do in Photoshop because this is actually quite easy for me to kind of do. All right, I'll do that. Like, this is the sort of like fluidity and comfort that like I used to have with writing music. Kind of feel like I want that to be orange, not purple, but I'm gonna leave it as purple for now. Yeah, okay, so I need to, what do we got here? Okay, so this one's gonna have to go kind of like that, and there, and then we'll bring another one down here, and turn it like this, and I have to shrink it down like that. What's that reminder for? I ain't gonna do that right now. Maybe in an hour. So I'm almost done with this letter bloom. Wait, what is that? There's something down here. I don't know what it is. Okay, so that's filled. I think I'll leave that gap open there. This almost looks like somebody just poured a bunch of... Wait. Oh, see, you're supposed to be... There we go. That's better. Yeah, I think that's actually one of the first times that one of those notifications is fired that I've actually noticed it when Coda followed earlier. Yeah, there definitely is something to be said about having the skill to just talk to yourself for long periods of time. But I think you also need to be doing something sort of interesting or somewhat interesting, and not something so abstract that the person's like, I have no idea what I'm watching. That's why I keep trying to like explain what this is. But yeah. Again, you know what? Actually, what I can do is I can create a like an overlay or something to put on the screen that just says like, actually, I have that in one of my other scenes, but that's a scene that uses 2 cameras, so I can't turn that on right now. I'm gonna just that's gonna be it. I think I'm gonna call it on that one. So there we go. Oh yeah, that was one, and this was the other one. So I'm gonna make this CR2. And there we go. Oh yeah, there was one that I had meant to make. You know what? Let me do that. I'm just gonna start something for next time. Okay, all right. No, I don't want you to be black. You're supposed to be 100, and I want that to be 0. And oh, it looks like I got a few new people coming in. Okay, it's not going to stay as that, but I'm just getting this ready for potentially next time. Or should I keep working? I'll take a vote here. For the people who are in, do you want to see me work on another letter bloom, or do you want to see me play a game? Because I was just about to switch to a game, but here's another example of another letter bloom. That, in fact, I'm going to get a couple of them open. Again, just for sort of context of like, what the heck am I doing here? Oh yeah, I didn't put my my watermark on that other one. Like there are other creative like design projects that I could work on, but sort of for now. And then what else do I have? What other one do I have? Oh yeah, this is the other one that I had open earlier. So these are my letter blooms so far. That reminds me, I was planning to put together a compilation ebook poetry zine kind of thing of like a mixture of poetry, word art, and stuff like that. And this is the original one that started everything. The DBQP. So these are my letter blooms. And I haven't posted any of these. Actually, I think I posted this one on Instagram already, but yeah, I kind of wanted to make like a few of these before I posted them on Instagram, but now that I do have a few of them, this is definitely not the right font to use for this. Ooh. No. Courier? I haven't done anything with... Oh, no, Courier. No, that wasn't Courier font. Never mind. Did I use... I used that there. Okay. What else? No, because I need a font that's actually... Is it all caps? It's all caps. I don't want all caps. I want something... Like... I don't want that. I want something more... I don't know if I have the right font for this or not. But yes, to my viewers, if you're new or if you're just kind of friends that are lurking, sort of putting up to a bit of a vote here. I could work on another one of these designs, or I could switch into a game. It's still up in the air. Now, see, I'm looking for a specific... I might have to... Oh, you know what? I know what I need to do. Because I do actually like... But I might do... See, that doesn't make the right part of it stretch. I want to stretch the top of the letter. Like the top of the H. I'm going to have to do some like manual goofing around with this one. How do you rasterize? There you are. And then I'm gonna have to, okay, because I know what I want to do here. I want to not use that. I'm gonna actually use the H, but I gotta change it first. Da, 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 da. Okay, no, that's not what I want to do. I need to do this. That's what I have to do, right? Yeah. Oh, except it's gotta be like, that kind of works. All right. Right. Okay. Yeah. That's right. That's what I want. And then combine these layers. And then flip it around. And, right, because I didn't hit the key properly. And then kill that Y. And then put this in its place like I wanted to. So this is kind of the idea that I like to do with these, is I do like to create symmetry. I'm going to have to do some more playing here. And like with the DBQP thing, I liked that like literally it's just all rotating something on like a different, it's the same letter, but it's just rotated around. And so this is another letter combination that I realized that was true of. And try to get the spacing between them the same. And then I'm going to combine them together. Oh, right. I have to replace the... Right. Okay. I remember. Yes, that's better. I have to delete the original H. There we go. See, that's what I wanted. Now, I have to merge all these layers together. There we go. Oh, wait, that's... I just realized that that's bigger than I intended it to be. So I try to do something a little bit different with each one. This one, I kind of feel like I want to start with this being smaller. Like, kind of like that. Put it in the middle. And then kind of... Again, I try to think of a different thing to do each time. And I've got like... There's only so many variations of things that I can kind of do, really. I'm not going to do something like that. That's really abstract. I'll open this one back up. Why not? And then put that out of the way here. And put that over there. So what can I do with this? I think I might save this for next time. I do feel like I want to switch to a game. But people seem to be enjoying this because I seem to have a few lurkers. Yeah, this is definitely better than my music stream. And I'm really loving this ambient lighting. Like, it took me a little while to get it to, be where I wanted, but like, hang on a sec, I'm gonna go back. Like, look at this. I just love that. I am so happy that I got it here and got it to kind of the right sort of shade, tone, whatnot. So I'll go back to here now. And that transition is better. The other one that I had was like, it's like 2 full seconds, and that's just too long for a transition. I just want something like basically a second long. Yeah, again, the music stream was hard because I knew that I was rusty with composing and with playing, and I still was just like, yeah, but I have a process, and if I follow the process, it shouldn't be a problem. And I was kind of muddling through it, but it was definitely not progressing quickly enough and well enough. And I think like if I was like, you can see that is a piano, obviously. I don't know if you can actually tell, but that is a piano, and I can sort of play it, but not especially well. Like I can't actually like play songs on it really, and I do want to get better at that. And maybe like I don't want to do like request streams. That's not something I'd probably ever want to do, but um I think it could be fun if I'm like doing like a chat stream at some point, or like playing games with the audience, to be able to do like some. I've seen some people do like where they play the funny little jingles or the little, little bits that add like personality to things that are saying or happening. And that's something I think could be kind of fun and cute to do. So that is something I might want to try to work on and get a little bit more comfortable with. Maybe even just have the piano like in front of me when I stream, although that would be challenging because the spacing here at my desk is not exactly totally ideal for that. Okay, so what am I going to do with this? So I've done rotations, I've done I don't actually know what to do with this. I don't. Okay, I am going to go into Steam and see. I was trying to play around with such art earlier because I want to like get better at it as like an alternative way to do an art stream, but I just didn't kind of have the like the energy and the focus. Oh, and I just lost a bunch of people. Oh well. So people are apparently interested in that, which is good to know. um, yeah, well, there's different ways to do music streams, right? Like, hold on a second. I'm gonna go back to chatting. I have to update this. Actually, yeah, I will. I'll update that for now. Yeah, like there's different ways to do it. Some people, they will play a little bit and talk. Some people will take requests. Some people just play their own stuff. Some people DJ like you. Some people compose like Arrow to the Jess. Actually, let me do that because let's make sure this actually works. Yay, there we go. So that, oh, that's not working properly. Why is that always listing my, all right, I'll have to type it manually. Whoops. Of course I put a frickin', oh, it'll still probably work anyways. Yeah, okay. But yeah, Arrow to the Jess does like actually composes music on stream. I think that she does it where the songs are already partly written, which is honestly a smart thing based on my experience on Wednesday. Um, to do that as opposed to starting from absolute scratch. Um, I don't know. I'm still thinking of different ways. Like one idea that I'd had was record like to record in OBS myself, like not live, but just recording offline me composing, and then maybe editing that clip once it's kind of done to kind of take the best bits, and then I can stream that video and do commentary over it and chat with the audience over it. And at least that way I know something is actually happening, and that might be a way I could do it. Um, Ableton and OBS are not friend on my computer. And again, it's a laptop. Yeah, I I would never want to stream from a laptop. I know some people don't have a choice, but like the dual screens at the very least is so great. And um like just yeah, having two bigger screens as well, and like not having the limited keyboard and stuff. I just don't like laptops in general. I'm spoiled. What shall I do here? Okay, so if I'm gonna uninstall this guy here, because I'm not gonna be playing this on here probably. Maybe I'll leave it for now, I guess. Because I was gonna play some truck driving. You know what? I do. I want to play some truck driving. I know it may not be what everyone necessarily wants to see. Oh yeah, I have to update this again. But that's what I'm gonna do. I did some art, I did some chatting, and now we're gonna do some trucking. Keep on trucking. Which means I can't pick a super long route because it's got to be done in 45 minutes. Sorry, that was loud. Oh, hey, I should actually be able to level up again after this this next mission that I do. Did I update that yet? I think I did. I don't remember. Hang on a second. There we go. Yeah, there we go. That works. Okay. See, I've actually been thinking, because I know a lot of people do retro streams on here, and that wasn't initially something that I was interested in, but then I kind of thought about it more, and I'm like, well, yeah, there's games that I grew up on that I would be potentially down to play. So I actually do have a few retro games, and at some point I'm gonna probably just do like a weekend stream where I'll stream a retro game for like a few hours. Second vaccine shot kicking my ass. Oh. Yeah, I've been here, and the second one's a doozy. If you gotta go lay down and rest, like, you know, absolutely take care of yourself. I totally understand. Okay, again, I want to find, that is way too long. There's not that many. 450 miles. Probably be about 45 minutes. See, I'm probably looking at something under 400 miles, ideally. That's what? That's just 400? Yeah, I'm not going to say which ones. I want it to be a surprise. I have 3. One of them I have literally not played since I was a kid. And it's one of those things, like, I can try it, and I don't know if I'm actually going to enjoy it and going to want to actually, like, stick with it. But again, that's one of those things that... This is 388. Maybe I'll go for this one. That's a lot of, like, kind of weird angular stuff. Or let's see what else is here. But again, at this point, it's like I have to kind of... do I want to do that? It definitely would be a bit shorter. I don't know. I might stick with this one. Oh, that's got a lot of... I don't... No, you know what? I want to keep this a little bit simpler. I don't know. What's the speed limit like in Arizona? Because I feel like I remember in this game that Arizona either has like a much higher or lower speed limit than California, because most of the routes are in California. And yeah, I don't want to like... I mean, I speed anyway, so I guess it doesn't really matter. 377. Ah, heck, I'm just going to take it. I'm just going to go. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. That's definitely faster. All right. Oh, this looks like another semi-awkward way to pull out of here. All right, not so bad, actually. Well, kind of. Because I have to go around a whole loopy thing. Yeah, it's funny because I used to say that, like, I didn't necessarily want to, like, commit myself to, like, doing themed streams. Like, you know, Mondays are always this, Wednesdays are always this, etc. But I guess I mean, the way I'm looking at it right now is, like, kind of doing, okay, if I'm going to do 2 hours, then why not do an hour of art and an hour of games? And I can talk through the whole thing. Or if, you know, I get into a real good groove with the art, then I can keep doing it. Or if I feel like just playing a game for the whole 2 hours, I can do it. But I guess it's more like the theme of like, retro or like a sport game or something more casual or whatever. That's why I own a sport car. Yeah. But again, it's all figuring it out as I go. Like there's no specific commitment. I call myself a variety streamer. That is what I kind of do for the most part. The one thing I do think I'll be probably more consistent with is weekends probably will be for like longer game streams. Or possibly longer art streams, one or the other. We'll see. I am really glad that I got this set up. Oh, whoops. I just realized the chat's turned off and I forgot. No, why are you? Nope. Is that? Oh, there we go. Because I keep forgetting. There we go. I was testing stuff earlier and I turned the chat off because I had to see something and then I forgot to turn it back on. And it's been there the whole time so far because I've not been in the gaming scene in OBS, and then I just was like, oh wait, because I know I had to move it because I can't move the like thing in the game, so I have to put the chat in a different spot so it doesn't block it. But yeah, considering how I felt when I started the stream versus how I feel now, I used to kind of worry that like if I can't like. Well, I guess it was back when I was still in a worse headspace, but it's like if I go on and I'm hoping for people to show up and talk and kind of boost my spirit, boost my mood, and if no one shows up, then it's gonna have the opposite effect. And I think, because I enjoy gaming, I enjoy making art, so if I come on and do it, just for the sake of enjoying it, that should make me feel a little bit better either way. And they're not all gonna be winners, right? Oh, what's going on here? Well, this is definitely a better stream than Wednesday. Yeah, I think I like the whole 2-hour stream idea. It doesn't feel like too much of a commitment, but it's enough time to either like sink pretty deeply into something or do a few different things. What kind of sports car do you own, Happy Dead Pixel? Yeah, when I first started, like, I was only doing, like, because I was basically playing a game of hockey or a route in this, so it was basically, like, 30 to 60 minutes, and I was just like, I don't know how to stream for longer than that, and it's just like, no, I just had to do it a few times, and then you get the hang of it, and... even 3-hour streams aren't that hard if you have the right kind of stuff to do. And like even now I'm starting to feel like under the right circumstances, I could even see myself doing like 4 to 6 hours potentially. I'd have to be prepared and it would certainly help to have an active audience, but yeah. Nissan 1991 240 SX. I admittedly know very little about cars and certainly sports cars, so that doesn't mean a lot to me, but hey, I'm glad it works for you. Oh, see, now I'm a little bit more in darkness again. Hold on. To turn my ring light up a little bit. There we go. That should be better. Yeah, that's better. I'm glad that I fixed my my timers and they're actually firing properly now. Although I do feel like they maybe are firing a little too often, but oh well. I can adjust that later. Oh, you know what? Is this going to be the time that... No, I was going to say, I still haven't hit 100 miles per hour in this game, but I want to. See, now every time the timers go off, it grabs my attention because I see that something happened in the chat. At least in OBS. I'm like, oh, what did someone say? Did you try that, oh wait, no, you weren't here on Wednesday. So, that one that just, fired in the chat there. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Yo, I love your boat. Are you referring to the truck? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Or do you mean something in the background? I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, there was the yeah, there you go, Happy Dead Pixel. I was totally not even trying that time. It was just carelessness, plain and simple. Hey, Tiger. Jess, right? Yeah. Okay, so I was just telling Happy Dead Pixel this. I know a couple of people dropped in on Wednesday, but I don't remember who was here. Here we all. Yeah. Oh, I came into destructive driving. Yep. There's almost always some kind of destructive activity in this game. Because I don't obey speed limits and I often get careless and it amuses me, so what the heck. But yeah, I have, there's a browser extension that I found that you can go and it should be in the chat a little bit back. It would say you want your pronouns to show up in the chat. There's a link. If you install that browser extension, it works in Chrome, Firefox, and Opera that I know of. And you can register with it and have it. And then when you're in chat, I can see your pronouns and you can see your pronouns. No, it's definitely not. It's definitely not indicative of my real life driving. Like literally all the driving I do in video games, it's either this or Grand Theft Auto or Burnout. They're all games that, like this one, you're meant to drive like properly, but those other two games, it's about speed and chaos. But no, in real life, I actually do enjoy driving in real life, and I do. Oh, I'm good for gas, and I definitely. I mean, my mom thinks I'm a bit of an aggressive driver, but I don't think I'm that aggressive. Of course. That's what they all say, right? Oh dear. No, really though. Because I haven't owned my own car in like over 10 years, so I've always been driving someone else's car or a rental, and so I have to be careful with them. So, yeah. Madness. Oh dear. Oh dear. I cut him off. Yep. That's right. My road. You wait for me. Oh, I love you, Happy Dead Pixel. You always come through for me. I will have to watch that later. Oh. Oh, that does sort of show up. See, it's about going too fast with a lot of like turns and curves and things, and I don't pay enough attention. I'm honestly surprised that I did not friggin' go over that guardrail, because that's what I was expecting to happen. Like the first time when that happened. Can I hit 100? I still want to hit 100 miles per hour, and I don't even care if I get into an accident to do it. That's probably not going to happen, though. Yeah. Like, I also expected more damage from that collision. Okay, see, again, I'm being very... This is an awkward view. Whatever that is on the back of this truck is oddly shaped. Go, Speed Racer, go. Okay, this guy's not going fast enough. He's going faster than they are. Alright, I can pass them. Ah, dude, The AI in this game is so freaking bad, I swear. Like, I've had people almost cut me off a few times, and I'm like, I'm a giant 18-wheeler or whatever. Like, you sure you want to do that? Yeah, those timers are going off too often. I'm gonna have to reduce the frequency. But I'm not gonna do that right now. How are you doing today, Jess? If you're still kicking around. How was your day? Are you gonna be streaming later? I've been lurking your streams. I've been trying to lurk a lot of people's streams, like, because I don't always have like the energy in the evenings to watch, even if I want to, and I still want to be supportive. So I've been doing a lot of lurking. Oh, I almost hit him. That life, I think the AI doing a great job. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna be done this route early. It's not gonna take, I mean, I'm speeding the whole way, so of course it's not gonna take as long as I thought. Maybe I'll do some more words on stream and see if I can be slightly less terrible this time. Oh, headlights might be useful. There we go. Okay, I gotta be careful here. I don't think I'm not gonna be able to hit 100 unless, like, I have to be in one of these trucks that can get up to 18th gear, and I need to be, like, on at least a slight downslope for, like, an extended period. So I have to figure out where in the game there is an extended downslope, and then, like, buy my own truck and, like, go drive there. But I want to do it on an actual mission, though. That's the thing. I wonder who's streaming right now. There was somebody streaming that I really enjoy right before I got on. But why? See, now why is everybody going so slowly? Oh, it's 50 here. But still, this is like that nighttime driving. It's not that bad. Oh, this is actually a better view now. Kind of. I don't love that view. How are you doing, Tiger? Or Jess? And what do you think of my fancy new lighting? It took a lot for me to actually get to make my frickin' background purple, but I got it. I gotta be on brand. There's a truck up there that's slowing everybody down. Ah, I just got home from, oh, officially on vacation. Congrats. I was gonna say I wouldn't mind a vacation, but like from what really? Like if there was actually places to go and things to do, then sure. Oh dear. Can I? Uh-oh. I am actually stuck. Am I gonna fall over? I'm gonna fall over, aren't I? Yup. I'm moving. Am I? Yeah, sort of. Oh dear. Oh. Oh. There's another clip. Yeah. You know, I've actually, like, I've been thinking about the gaming thing, because, like, I've been sort of holding myself slightly hostage. Because, like, I want to play games sometimes. I'm like, I shouldn't play unless I'm on stream. Like, I should save that for streaming. That's the point. But, like, sometimes I want to play, and it's like, okay, well, you don't have to always stream it. And I think I'll probably start playing hockey more offline because I know people aren't as interested in that. So, um, yeah, that's something I might need to do more off stream. But yeah, I found out unfortunately that the baseball that I had been playing before, that was a good casual thing for me, that was unfortunately like, so I had my ex's account registered on my PlayStation initially, and I didn't remove it when we broke up, and she didn't say anything, and I'm just like, I guess it either she forgot or maybe it just doesn't matter. And so, and I had like these games downloaded that were games that she'd bought, and they kept working. And then the other day she finally said like, hey, I need you to take my account off your thing so that I can have a friend use it. And I assumed that because I'd already downloaded the games that I could still play them even if her account wasn't on my system, and I discovered today that that is not the case. So unfortunately now I have a few games on my system that I can no longer play. I wasn't really playing anyways except for baseball, but I can't play now unless I actually buy them for myself. They're already downloaded, I just can't actually play them. And I guess that makes sense because otherwise you could like just give a ton of free games to all your friends. Kicking it sideways, yep. Yep. So I'm gonna have to decide. There's probably one or two games maybe that I might actually want to buy, because like Red Dead Redemption 2 I had started playing. I did want to play more of it. I'm gonna have to buy that. GTA 5, I don't know. I don't know that I'm gonna play much more of that, but yeah. Whoops. Oh geez. Oh geez. I just turned off my engine. That was not smart. Once you change primary console, you can't play them on the old one. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Well, it was good while it lasted, I guess. I guess like I said, I'm lucky like it wasn't that many games. I played the baseball, I played Red Dead, I played Grand Theft Auto, I downloaded a bunch of other ones, but I never really played them. I know Dead by Daylight's really popular. I haven't actually played, and Fortnite's another one I downloaded that I was eventually planning to play, but I'm not super interested in like is Fortnite first person or third person, or can it be either? I don't remember. But like I'm definitely not very interested in first person shooters anymore. Was that lightning? Did I just see lightning in the game? That'd be cool if it was. I'm trying to actually watch now. I might have just thought I saw it. Third. Yeah, I guess that's a little bit better. I know Control is a third person game, but it also has like a really good story, and Fortnite, from what I understand, is just like kind of a shooting building. I don't know. If people wanted to play with me, then I would consider that, but it's not something I feel like going out of my way to play. Because there's Creative Destruction on Steam, which I think is a free game. And it's a very similar kind of thing. Yeah, the thing with the popular games, I know I've said this before on streams, that the thing with the really popular games is that like a lot of them don't really appeal to me. And I mean, that's not a bad thing necessarily, because of all the advice videos I've watched, it says like if you start out brand new on Twitch with like no audience and you're trying to get noticed playing like the popular games, you're never going to get found, because you're going to be at the very bottom of the list of people playing those games with like 1 or 2 or 0 viewers or something. So if you play like less common games or do something more unique, you're more likely to get found. And so I'm kind of glad that I'm like more of a variety streamer and that I play stuff that's not as popular. I uninstall it. Yeah, I had Creative Destruction, and I like looked up some videos of like what it was, because I thought it was something different, and I was like, oh no, I'm not really that interested in this. But yeah, like Dead by Daylight, Fortnite, Stardew Valley I know is really popular, Stream Raiders. Just a lot of that stuff just doesn't really appeal to me, unfortunately. I mean, I would play it with people if people wanted to play it with me, but I'm not going to go out of my way to play it by myself. But at the same time, you don't want to play something too niche that no one is looking up. I mean, you have to find the middle ground. Yeah, that's... I think American Truck Simulator, I think, is kind of a good in-between. It is a little, like, it's... Euro Truck Simulator is more popular, but people do still have interest in this game. And it is a good kind of casual game to play. And there can be really funny, entertaining moments, as you've seen twice now. And... You know, Control is, like, not as popular, but it's still kind of an interesting game that I know some people do want to see and are curious about. And I found a couple of other games that I plan to play. I feel like an accident might be about to happen. I'm going to slow down a little bit. Nope, I'm alright. But yeah, it's... I was actually looking up Terraria today because I thought maybe that might be a little bit more up my alley compared to Stardew Valley, and then I looked at like a video of someone playing it and I was like, oh, no, not really. Oh dear. Things you should never do, but I do frequently. Just completely cut that guy up in such a dangerous and jerky way. Oh. Cameron Blue Yoshi, I recognize your name. You subscribed, or you followed me a while ago. How are you doing? Thank you for popping in. I appreciate it. Or at least I think I remember you following me a while back. Name seems familiar. I saw nothing. Well, that's good. That's two of us. Oh, yeah, whatever. Unlock. I'm good. Oh, I'm glad to hear you're good. Oh, this trail. Yeah, I'm really not being careful with this trailer. Oh, I'm almost done. I didn't even realize I was that close. Yeah, so just to let you know, Cameron, I have kind of a schedule set up now for the stream. It might change a little bit here and there, just kind of if, like, you know, health stuff or things come up, but the plan, the goal, and I try to do it starting this week, is to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday evenings, and then at least one of the 2 weekend days. And I'm still going to be doing kind of variety streams. I'm going to be doing a combination of like games and art and chatting. And wow, I just about friggin' hit this cop. Because I'm just apparently in the mood to hit everything and everybody today. But yeah, I'm finally kind of into this enough and getting the hang of it and whatnot. Yeah. I don't know if that one's worth clipping, but yeah. Alright. Okay, where am I going here? I still got a little bit of time left. So yeah, I think we'll maybe do some words on stream. Or actually, maybe I'll try marbles on stream. I don't know. I think marbles on stream, it's definitely better. Oh, okay. I have to actually go over here. Okay. I think it's better when there's more people and they're actually like active. I think I've got a few lurkers right now, which is fine. But yeah, I think words on stream is maybe a better fit. I'll do this one. What the heck? Probably only get satisfactory again on this one, but whatever. Oh, it's there? Ugh. Boo. I guess that's not that bad. Seriously, this is such an awkward trailer. Like, I want to just take one more look at this. What is that? think that's like a part of a train or something. Kind of what it looks like to me. So you're the third person I hear talking about marbles. I'm assuming we're not talking about actual marbles. No, we are definitely not. I can show you. It's a little bit complicated, but it's kind of cool. It's I think, like I said, I think it's a better game when you have like a little bit bigger audience. But yeah, I was looking for more casual interactive stuff that I could do. Like I had the idea to start my streams with words on stream and end them with marbles on stream, which I might still do. But yeah, it's just like a quick little thing you can do a game in like not too long, and it can be kind of fun. So I guess we'll try it then. We will try it. This is actually proving harder than I expected. I'm just gonna have to get further back again. It's like the straightening out part. That's the part that gets me. I have to like get really, really in close. Farm equipment. Good, okay. Apparently that wasn't so much damage that I only got satisfactory. I mean, I did lose some money and some experience, but... Oh, I didn't actually level up. So close. Wouldn't have mattered. Even without the damage, it wouldn't have mattered. Alright. Let's get out of here. And marbles on stream. Whoops. Alright. So we're going to try this out. I'm going to show Tiger. And again, I have to figure out how it works again. Okay, good. My camera's better. My camera was really like blurry and delayed last time, but I think I figured out the settings and made them better. Okay, what's going on now? Is this just my... Nope, that's not. Oh, right. Sign in with Twitch, so I have to... All right. Window full screen. Again, I have to figure out how to do it. Cause like, do you remember Happy Dead Pixel? How did we do this? Because you were here the last time that I actually got it to work, and I don't remember what I did because I thought I just went to race and standard and picked one and did it, and it was like fine, but like last time I tried it, it kept putting me in with like a ton of other people that I didn't know, and I'm like, I don't want this. I just want like just me and my people. Was it like Grand Prix or something? Got a little bit longer. Don't remember. Maybe we'll try and figure it out then. I picked a random one. Record holder, viewer, or simulated race. Viewer race. Oh. So let's do like 10 here, I guess. Let's see what happens. Ooh, look at that. That's even a perfect... hang on a second. I want to switch the chat to the other side. Okay. Oh, hey, look. It looks like we're good here then. All right. Oh, yeah, I can't start yet. So you have to type exclamation... Yeah, there you go. Do the exclamation point play, and it'll enter you automatically. And if any of the lurkers, if there are any lurkers, if you want to get in on this, there we go. Got 3 of us. I'll just give it a second to see if anybody else wants to hop in. Yes, no, maybe? Oh, yeah, man, I gotta fix that timer. It's shooting too often. All right, we're just gonna go. And if anyone wants to join the next round, we can do that. All right, here we go. Glad I figured that out. 3 of 10. Oh, right. All right. Now. And so literally you just like watch them do the thing. And you can follow, well, I can follow mine. I can also follow whoever, but I'm going to follow me, obviously. And I can zoom out, and I can kind of, wait, was it, how did I do that before? Oh, there we go. Wait, where am I? There I am. All right. Nope. Nope. Up. There we go. Okay, this is, I cannot keep up. Go. Well, let's see where Mini U is. No, wait, that's not right. Oh, you're in first. Okay, hold on. There we go. Okay. Oh, you got stuck? Are you still? Oh, no. Oh, now you're. Oh, I guess you got stuck. Yeah, you got hit by an obstacle. I am narrowly in the lead right now. Oh, all right. Ah, I don't like these controls. Because I use a. Whoa. Something just fell off? Was that a marble or something else? All right. Oh, no. Yeah, because I use a left-handed mouse, all the WASD controls. Where the hell is everybody? Oh, there I am. Okay. All the WASD controls conflict because I have to do them with my right hand, and they're not meant to be done that way. Whoops. All right. There we go. I'm stuck. Oh gosh, that's a long course. They're actually not. Oh, hey, you're in first. What? No. Okay, no. This so this is a thing that I can tell you if you ever decide you're going to do this, is that it says who's in first based on who's actually furthest ahead in the course, not actually who is. Okay, let me see. Oh, I'm near the end here. Like, so actually, let me go back out here. I'll give you a better example of what I mean. So, for example, as you can see, if one of the marbles was at the very top of this spiral, at the very front edge of it, and another one of the marbles was at the back edge of like the bottom spiral, it would say that the one at the top was in the lead because it's the furthest forward. Whoops. But it's actually not correct. I don't know why it does it that way. Whoa. The heck? How is this gonna work? I am very, very curious. Wait, where did I go? Oh, there I am. Okay. How does this work? Does it get sucked up? I guess it does. Let's say, how the heck does that... Where are you, Happy Dead Pixel? Oh, you're behind a little bit. Okay. I guess I got lucky with one of the things. Oh, there's a jump here. I've already gone through it? Nope, I haven't. All right, we're going to watch it. Watch it live. Whoops. Woohoo! Oh, uh-oh. Uh-oh. Wait, does that... Oh, I died. Oh, dear. Yeah. Well, I died, so much for being in the lead. All right. Okay, yeah. And you... Oh, here we go. Here we go. Let's see if you make it. Oh, look at that. You did. Awesome. Where is... Oh, Happy Dead Pixel still back a little bit. All right. I'll give you the live view of your... Uh-oh, yeah. See, if you don't go down this thing like straight, it launches you off the side and you die. Ah, good job, Tiger. All right. Do you want to do that again? I keep looking over here. I'm going to have to, like, move my camera, like, over there, maybe. I put it like right in between my two monitors, so like there's a better chance that no matter where I'm looking, I'm not too far off. Do you want to do another round, Tiger? Can do. So it's chance. Yeah, it is very much chance. You have absolutely no. I mean, you have no control. Like you can apparently like upgrade your marbles somehow. I don't actually know how necessarily. And I guess that might give you some advantage or something. All right, yeah, that's the same thing. I gotta end the stream um, soon. So okay, here we go. So do random. Wait, I don't have random anymore. Wait, I can shop now? Anyways, no, I'm not doing that right now. Twisted toothpick. Okay. Yeah. All right, let's do this. I have no idea what this is, but we're going to see. We're gonna see. Oh, okay. Right. So join. What happened? Oh, it just doesn't keep showing me there forever. Okay, I gotcha. It's like, why did my name disappear? All right. This turned out to be a pretty decent little stream. I think 2 hours is definitely a reasonable commitment. Not too bad. Like unless I had like a really bad like migraine or really not feeling well or really tired or something. But yeah. Oh right, I forgot to update this to just chatting. Whoops. Or to marbles on stream. Whoops. All right. Well, let me just do it now at least. All right, we are good. Let's do it. Yeah. Yeah. All right, I'm going to follow Tiger just for fun. Our honored guest of the evening. I do need to figure out how you like upgrade your marble. Ooh, this is actually kind of nice. Oh, there's another game I have on my PlayStation that apparently can do like audience involvement, and it's called Golf Party or Party Golf or something. And maybe next stream I'll check that out. Twisted toothpick. Okay, I see why it's called that. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of luck involved in this. All right. Oh, what's that? All right, there you go. Just past me. All right. All right. This part's tricky. Is it a site similar to Stream Raiders? You mean the golf party thing? It's nothing like that. I know a lot of people do Stream Raiders and have suggested it's like an easy thing to do to get like more engagement, but to be honest, I'm not super interested in like setting like oh, I just realized I forgot to set up. Damn it. Whoops. I have oh dear, you just died. Oh, and so did I. Oh, we all died. Oh. Oh dear. That's a triple kill by way of the map. Oh, that's unfortunate. All right, let's get out of here. Yeah, I totally keep forget. Wait. Oh right, because I don't have stream avatars open. Okay, I'm gonna pop this open just for a second and see if it actually works. Because I freaking bought it and set it up, and I just keep forgetting to actually do it. Okay. So, there we go. I think if I minimize this, yeah, there we go. Yeah. So I now have this. Although I don't know why there's so many of them. There's only supposed to be as many as there are actually in the, I don't know. I might have to figure out some more settings. What am I doing now? Just chatting again is what I'm doing now. Yeah, I do have to go very shortly, so I just wanted to test that out. So I'm just gonna literally do this too. I'm the little Kirby. I want to be this like purple Among Us dude with the face mask on. I don't know how to get that. Happy Dead Pixel, Tiger. I think there's usually more sprites than chat. No, see, there are a couple of channels that I go to that literally only has the same number of sprites that there are viewers in the on the channel, and sometimes it doesn't even add the new one until the person says something, and you get a sign when you chat. Yeah, I don't know, but that's kind of a lot. And like, yeah, the thing was like with this, like I didn't want them to kind of be in the way of like art and stuff, so I was gonna only have them on during like maybe chat scenes. Um, but let me. Oh shoot! Yeah, I want to save that. Let me go back to the chatting screen. And yeah, there they are. So they are. See, the little Kirby is nice and compact and out of the way. But yeah, so yeah, this is a fun little stream. Ended off kind of fun and nice. So, oh yeah, I gotta do my quick little. So I'll do this again real quick. So these are other projects and things that I recommend people check out and support. Podcasts and other networks and things and other streamers, and I'm constantly kind of updating this list of streamers, and this is people that I tend to like actually watch a lot, and kind of because like I want to make sure that I'm recommending someone who I don't have to worry is gonna say or do something that I would reflect poorly back on me for recommending them. Um, and I also have these charities. This is something I added. I do this on my podcast. I promote charities on every episode. And yeah, that's kind of. So I'm going to go back here for a quick second. And I'm going to say goodbye. Thanks to everyone for dropping in. I do have to get going, so the stream is not going to be as long as it would otherwise have been for a Friday night. But thanks for everyone for joining. Thank you, Happy Dead Pixel, for those clips. Thanks for playing marbles with me. And yeah, I will see everybody again on the weekend at some point. I will be again. I don't know. Tomorrow I think I might try to take like a computer break as much as I can, and then maybe Sunday I'll do like a more extended stream. And because I gotta get back to Control. I really want to get back to that game. But yeah, that is that, and so I will see people probably on Sunday. And I hope you have a good rest of your day and everything. Oh, and I forgot to say, these are my other projects. For anyone who's still watching, these are the other things that I do. Go to artemiscreates.com. It's all there. And yeah, that's going to be that. Thank you for watching, and good luck, good night, good everything. See you next time.